I did it. We did it, Joe. Hi, everyone. Welcome to K-pop Hot Takes. Welcome to this channel. For people that don't know me, I have a channel. My name is Micah. I have another channel called Kpopfan where I film my friends and people I know reacting to K-pop, giving their sort of takes on it. And I thought I've been needing something where I could sort of talk and just, like I do on my live streams, and just share hot takes and opinions and things. You know, I'm sure no matter how I say it, someone's gonna find a way to disagree with it. But I mean, I'm okay with disagreements, just disagree respectfully, which reminds me, this is a disclaimer I wrote. Disagreements are always welcome. Disrespect is not. Nothing is personal, nor does it discredit your artist or your faves. Everyone's entitled to share their opinions respectfully and freely. Any rudeness will be dealt with swiftly. I don't play those games. So now we can start. So this title, as you've seen, this video is titled Why I Fell for BTS, Got Into K-pop and Why I Miss Them. Which sounds weird because obviously they're still around, but you know, I miss them and I'll explain why. So who is BTS? BTS are the biggest group, probably one of the biggest artists, top 5 artists possibly in the world right now. South Korean group made up of 7 members. Jin, the oldest. Yoongi, also, I'm doing the age order. Yoongi, also known as Sugar or / August D. Hoseok, also known as J-Hope. Namjoon, also known as RM, who's the group leader. Oh, I might do a video on leaders actually. And Jimin, then Taeyong, also known as V, and Jungkook, aka the Golden Maknae, which means youngest. Maknae means youngest in Korean, and he's known as that because he's just literally good at everything that he does. Yeah, so they're a record-breaking group. They've done so many things, as you can see scrolling here. They've achieved things that have not been achieved before, especially for a Korean group. And they've literally broken barriers and changed a lot, you know. And I think they've paved the way for even more. They've added to, you know, the road was paved before, but they've paved even more of it for more people to do more, especially in the American market and in the Western market overall, or even the Japanese market, all the markets basically. So why am I making a video about BTS? What went right for me is the SNL performance for Boy With Love. It was on my YouTube channel. I don't even know why. It was just there. It was fate. And I was like, who is the guy with the pink hair? Oh my God. I was like, who is this man? And literally, I had to watch every fan cam of his. Literally, it was emotional. Every fan cam of his, every performance of Boy With Love, I kept like, you know, when you watch new performances, because it was a new single, there wasn't many new performances then, so I was like watching, finding what I could, just to be like, I need to see more of this guy, I need to see more of this group. And then what really took it over, because I've seen many new artists in every other spectrum, but what was special about this and what was special about BTS and K-pop was I started to watch Run BTS, which is a variety show. A lot of Korean groups have their own TV shows where it's like weekly, they do like games, challenges, or little fun tasks, and you know, it's like half an hour things. And Run BTS is BTS's one. And there's so many iconic moments that just got me, such as Laji Bolala. This is like this thing where they're playing this game where you couldn't hear each other, and Jimin could try to guess what he was saying, and threw out some real funny stuff. And then I also watched some shipping videos. I was obsessed. Still kind of it's a conspiracy of mine. Like Jai Cook. I know some people don't agree with shipping videos, some do, whatever. For me, it's crumbs. Like, I just take what I can get. It's a fantasy. And I'd never seen such a free expression of personality, joy, affection, intimacy, platonic intimacy between men. And I was like, what is this world I've discovered? Like, I need more of this. And then I watched every single episode of Run BTS. I watched all the variety stuff. I watched compilation videos. I was like, this is just, I didn't know I was looking for this, and I found it. And also, you know, they had open dialogue, and they're very open about things that were touching and things that were like you know, they have this other reality show called Bon Voyage, which they have at kind of like the end of the year kind of thing. It's like more of like a trip that they do. It's a variety as well. And at the end of those seasons, they have like a sit around and they all like were writing poems to each other, and they're like crying, and it's just like, oh my God, like there's no feeling like it, seeing male emotion so raw and vulnerable when you've yearned for that or yearned to see it for so many years. So that's why I was just like, okay, who are BTS? Like, yes, I was hooked. And although I don't really listen to BTS's music the most out of a lot of the artists I listen to, I still love a lot of their music. I love some of the old school stuff, like Just One Day. Last one, that's a classic. And I also love some of the solo stuff, like Serendipity and My Time. But I also love On. You know, it's quite a range. So every now and then there's things I enjoy, but it's the performances for me. Like, it's the performances for me. Because when I first got into K-pop, everyone has felt very rigid and structured in the performance. And then BTS had personality that just stood out when they performed. It wasn't just like, we're fantastic dancers, let's just do this. It was like, oh, like it was a bit of not crump, is it crumping? Yeah, it was a bit of crumping, a little bit of like a tribal way of moving, just aggression and passion that I just felt like, this is how you perform. Like, I was so intrigued because everyone else felt very, just a bit limited in personality at that time. So they really stood out for me. Such performances like Idol at the Mamas, Fire at the Mamas, Jungkook's iconic walk from, I forgot what that was for. Like, there was things that I was just like, these guys are special, you know, and I was hooked. Now, my hot takes. Now you've gotten the backstory and what I love about them. This is where things have been going wrong-ish for me, and this is not their fault of theirs either. These are just circumstances, or, you know, just things that happen on a bigger scale that affect things. My first thing was Black Swan and On deserved so much more. I'm preaching to the choir when I say this, but I just know those two songs and the videos where I think BTS, they just accumulated to that moment, and like, this is us. Like, this is us at our best. Like, you know, you had a beautiful orchestral production, Black Swan, you know, slowed the lyrics about mental health and all this, and then On was this like drum line, strong song, strong performance, straight out the gate. When I first saw that, I rewound just Jimin's intro over and over again, because I was just like, this is, my mind melted. I was obsessed with that. I mean, to be honest, and I think a lot of ARMY would know, if anyone could explain to me as well, they explain it better, but I think obviously that era was stunted by COVID, which obviously is no one's fault. And that kind of impacted, it felt very short, and it felt like they could have probably performed more, maybe more concerts or abroad or whatever, but it was limited. And it's a shame that they really deserved more. Even styling wise, they did something different, you know, with Taeyong's iconic tattoo, the veins, Jimin and Namjoon's hair. Everyone just looked, I was like, this is insane. And then that era ended, and then we had Dynamite. Now, if we're being real with ourselves, and I've spoken to many ARMY before who are honest about it, it's not what represents BTS and at their best, in my opinion. I think it's such a shame that, it's great, obviously it did what it did, and it did a great job performing it and selling that song, and it was magnificent, broke records or whatever, nominated for a Grammy. But I don't think it's what should have gotten to that level, considering we had Black Swan and On the same year. Black Swan is a Grammy nominated song to me, like, and I think that should have won a Grammy. That song is magnificent. And then Dynamite came along, and cool, it was great. It was produced very well. You know, it had a great energy about it. The video was great. It was all in English, which I prefer, you know, K-pop with Korean in it. But, you know, they did a great job of putting the song together. And then it did get a bit overexposed, overplayed. You know, it was everywhere. I think they performed it like 35 or 38 times or something. So I feel like even they were like, okay, if I have to perform for this city one more time, and you know, they didn't write it, they didn't get to produce it, and I think they will never say this, but I'm sure that irks them a bit because they're such great producers and writers as well. And on top of that, I actually really like B as an album. I wasn't expecting that. After Dynamite, I thought the other songs were gonna be really like poppy and overly produced as well, but it was the exact opposite. Blue and Grey, oh my god, Taeyong wrote that. What a beautiful song. Great vocals, great lyrics. You know, all this ground feels so heavy, I'm singing by myself. Like, okay. And Telepathy, which I didn't actually pay attention to as much when the album came out, but when I watched the performance with Albert on my other channel, I was like, oh my god, this song is so good. I hadn't even considered it when I first listened to it. Fly to My Room, another great song. Disease. Now with Disease, I mean, the chorus and verses are okay, but that bridge, when I heard Jimin go, sick and tired, I don't want to mess up. I was like, what is this? Like, you know, they had those songs on there as well, and I feel like they were undercut, or not as, they could have been much more appreciated in a way that Dynamite should have been. Because sometimes, you know, a high performing song is not always indicative of a high quality song, you know. Not to say Dynamite's not high quality, but there's so many other songs that were of high quality to me that should have definitely been just as well received and just as big. So yeah, that's my take on that. It does bring into question xenophobia, because why does it take a full English song from a non-English artist for it to finally get a Grammy nom, or, you know, X, Y, and Z? It's a bit like, you should still be able to appreciate something, even if it's in another language. It should still get the same accolades and the same commercial success, you know? But that's a whole nother issue. That would take a whole, that's a lot to unpack there, you know, which is still a detriment. It's a shame for them, because their work bit prior to Dynamite and other songs was just as great as well. Exhaustion is another point, and also lack of artistic expression are things that I feel like for them, you know, you work so hard to be successful, you get there, but the problem is when you're successful, you're everywhere. You have to be everywhere. You're working so hard to, you know, you need to stay on your game, and that's so exhausting, and you get to a point where you're also overstretched. And I hope that their mental and physical is being looked after, because, you know, as a fan, I find it hard to also consume things when my artist is everywhere, because you do get a bit concerned. You kind of feel a bit like, oh my god, are they okay? And you kind of want time to miss them, you know, and you want to give them time to breathe so that they can also recollect and perform fresh. And I think that goes hand in hand with the other point of lack of artistic expression. Now, when you reach a certain level of success, you know, you start to lose some freedoms, because sometimes the big bosses don't want to break the formula, and they don't want to shake the table and like, no, do this, perform this, give them that. And I think, you know, that performing the classics can be good, but I personally do not want to see a mic drop performance in 2021. Like, I think if a song came out, you know, 3 years ago, and you performed it so many times from then on tour, etc., I'm sure you don't want to perform it now. They will never say it, but, you know, those are things I think of. I could be so wrong, but this is just how I see it. Because you notice, excuse me, for those that don't know, in the award shows for 2019, or was it 2020? BTS performed songs from their first album that they weren't allowed to perform back then, because they were seen as the underdogs. So you can see when they're highlighting a classic in that way, sure, you know, I'm so into that. But when it comes to other things, it does start to feel as if they're being limited and having to pull out a song to please, you know, the label heads, or to please the mainstream public. But I don't think for them it's freeing because they've performed so much. I'm sure they've grown and would like to show more that they're capable of. Even in the space of a year or two, they're growing at a crazy rate. So that's something I think about as well. Last but not least of the hot takes of where things kind of go wrong-ish, exceptionally mean fans. Now, this is not a thing that's exclusive to BTS, obviously. You know, there are fan groups like the Beehive or Barbs or so-and-so who have had a reputation, especially on Twitter, for saying things that are a bit extreme and doing things that are a bit extreme. But the reason why this for me affects a relationship with an artist is because I do think it would be nice if, to a degree, the artist kind of like drew the line with their fan base in regards to what is too far. Because, you know, if you're standing for people's mental health and you speak of it highly, and some fans do acknowledge that, but you've got some who are, you know, breaching someone's privacy for an opinion or doing things beyond the scope, I think it comes to a point where you have to step up, because surely you've heard of it, you know? And I think I want more artists to do that. But because in the K-pop world, the BTS fan base, the ARMY is the name of the fan base, is the largest, you're more likely to have these run-ins. And it's very impactful, and it can taint the experience a little bit. I mean, but it's not by much, because you can't take away what I love because you're doing too much. Like, that's not how it works. So luckily, you know, I'll still enjoy and love what they're going to give me, irregardless of how, you know, what people might say on other videos, because I don't think I've ever been disrespectful. I've just always shared my opinion. Sometimes I might be hyperbolic and, you know, and be a bit dramatic with things, but in a jokey way, but it's never serious, you know, it's nothing personal at all. But we should all be allowed to express those opinions freely. And you can have discourse. Healthy discourse is so fine, because that's how you learn. There's many things I don't know, but yeah, teach me. I'm so open to that. But then, you know, don't insult someone and call their names, etc. Like, it's just not cool. Yes, I know it's in every fan base as well, but, you know, like I was saying, you know, when you're dealing with the largest fan base, you have these run-ins more often. Yeah, and those are my hot takes in regards to that. But, you know, I have such a special place in my heart for BTS, because without them, I wouldn't have gotten into K-pop. I wouldn't have started my channel. And, you know, there's so many important things that could be discussed, but I would be here all day if I wanted to touch on everything. And I thought of this video because I think it was right to start with this video for this channel, because this explains why I got into K-pop and why I will be talking about the things I'm talking about going into the channel. Because this is my foundation. This is where I started. I started with BTS, and I'm looking forward to the comeback as well. And I hope they're allowed to have the artistic freedom that we know them to have, and they can be themselves, and just showcase all of their talent and showcase all of their growth. That's what I'm hoping for. And to be honest, even if I don't like it, they don't owe me anything, so it's fine. Like, it's fine. They don't owe me a thing, so I will still enjoy the old stuff. You know, it's just my opinion as a fan on the out layer. So on that note, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, some videos might be more detailed than others, but I think I just wanted to share this opinion because it's very fascinating, and I think people do have similar views or different whichever. I think it'd be a good thing to talk about and see how you all feel as well. Remember, be respectful. I was respectful. It's never that personal. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's be a community and let's discuss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!